He spent 12 years saving lives, but the one life he couldn't save was the one that haunted him forever. This is the doctor's confession. Dr. Nathan Cole had seen more pain than most men could imagine. For 20 years, he worked as one of the best trauma surgeons in the city. Calm, precise, respected. But beneath his steady hands and composed voice, he carried a secret that had haunted him for over a decade. It was the kind of secret that steals your sleep, your smile, your peace. It was a rainy Thursday night when the confession began. The hospital hallways were quieter than usual. Most of the staff had gone home, and only a handful of patients remained in the ER. Dr. Cole sat in his office, staring at a file that had just landed on his desk. A new patient admitted after a car accident. A young woman in her 20s, unconscious, critical condition. But what made his hands tremble wasn't her injuries. It was her name. Emily Foster. He whispered it under his breath like it was a ghost, because it was. Emily Foster was the daughter of the man whose life Nathan had taken 12 years ago. 12 years ago, before the white coat and the polished smile, Nathan wasn't the calm, collected doctor everyone saw. He was a young intern, overworked, exhausted, and desperate to prove himself. One night, he made a mistake, a small one, but in medicine, small mistakes can mean everything. A man came into the ER, Mr. Foster. Chest pains, confusion, shortness of breath. Nathan had been on a 30-hour shift, his mind foggy, his judgment blurred. He misread a chart, gave the wrong dosage. By the time his attending realized what had happened, it was too late. Mr. Foster's heart stopped, and so did Nathan's career for a while. The hospital covered it up as a system error. Nathan was transferred, given another chance, but he never forgave himself. Every patient he saved since then was an apology he could never deliver. And now, 12 years later, the universe had brought Emily Foster to his table, broken, bleeding, unconscious. Her car had been struck by a drunk driver. Dr. Cole's hands shook as he scrubbed in. The nurse beside him noticed. "Doctor, are you okay?" she asked. He nodded quickly. "Yes, let's begin." The next 3 hours felt like a lifetime. Every incision, every suture, every heartbeat on that monitor was a battle between past and present. He whispered to himself as he worked, "Not this time. Please, and not her." When the surgery ended, Emily was alive. Barely, but alive. Nathan stepped out of the operating room drenched in sweat. He walked to the hospital chapel, sat on the back pew, and buried his face in his hands. For the first time in years, he prayed. 2 days later, Emily woke up. Her body was weak, but her spirit strong. She wanted to see the man who had saved her life. Dr. Cole hesitated, but eventually he walked into her room. She smiled faintly when she saw him. "You're the doctor who fixed me, right?" she said softly. He nodded. "Yes. How are you feeling?" "Like I've been hit by a truck," she joked weakly. They both laughed, but Nathan's heart ached. Days passed, and Emily began to recover. She was bright, kind, curious. She told him about her life, her art, and how she'd been caring for her mother, who never fully recovered after her father died years ago. Nathan listened quietly, each word like a blade twisting deeper into his chest. He couldn't take it anymore. That night, he went back to her room after visiting hours. The ward was silent. Only the soft hum of machines filled the air. Emily looked up from her sketch pad. "Dr. Cole? Everything okay?" He swallowed hard. His voice trembled. "Emily, there's something I need to tell you." She frowned slightly. "What is it?" He sat down beside her bed, unable to meet her eyes. 12 years ago, your father came into an emergency room just like this one. He was my patient. I was still learning back then, and I made a mistake, one that cost him his life." Emily froze. The smile on her face vanished. Her eyes widened, searching his face for any sign of a lie. He continued, voice breaking. "I've carried that guilt every day since. Every patient I've saved, every life I've touched, has been me trying to make up for what I did that night." Tears welled up in her eyes. She didn't speak for a long time. Finally, she whispered, You were the one?" Nathan nodded slowly. I'm sorry, Emily. I can't ask for forgiveness. I just needed you to know the truth. She turned her face away, silent tears streaming down her cheeks. Nathan stood, unable to bear it any longer. As he reached for the door, she said softly, "Wait." He turned. She looked at him, eyes red but calm. "My father used to tell me, everyone makes mistakes. What matters is what you do after them." Nathan's eyes filled with tears. She smiled faintly through hers. "You saved my life, doctor. Maybe that was his way of forgiving you." For the first time in years, Nathan felt something lift from his chest, a weight that had nearly broken him. He left her room quietly, walked outside, and stood under the hospital's cold fluorescent lights. The night sky was beginning to clear, and for the first time in 12 years, he felt the air in his lungs again. Soft piano outro begins. Sometimes the hardest confessions don't set you free from others. They set you free from yourself. And for Dr. Nathan Cole, the confession he feared most was the one that finally healed him. Music fades out. Subscribe for more heart-touching stories that remind us redemption is never too late.